Hi, I'm Bodie Drake. Today, by special request from Frankie Sanford, I'm going to show you how I blow a Mondo duck call. First thing you want to do when you pick up this call is you need to think about what kind of duck sounds you want to make. A lot of people say, I like this type of call or I like that type of call because it really sounds like a duck. I'm not trying to mimic a duck exactly, okay? That's not what I'm going for here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to mimic the sounds that get a duck's attention the most, okay? The best way I know to describe this, there's two analogies I have. One of them is bass fishing. When you go bass fishing and you use a big 10-inch purple worm, there's nothing in the lake that looks like a big 10-inch purple worm, right? But it catches fish. And it does a good job at catching fish too. And it's because it triggers a reaction from the fish. He sees it and he goes, oh man, that thing's long and squishy, it's got a unique color, it's got a ribbon tail, it's moving just the right speed, and he eats it. So what I'm trying to do is when the duck flies over, I want to hit his eardrums with my duck call and make him react. That's what I'm trying to do, right? And I like to use a Mondo because it's really loud. I really want to be able to call them from a long ways away, and if there's somebody close to me, I want to be able to call over them, so I'm more attractive to the ducks than the other person, okay? With a quiet call, I can't get the volume, but with a loud call, I can always blow it softer and get a lower volume. So I really like the loudest call I can get my hands on when I'm calling in the woods. Don't always blow it at that full volume, okay? You got to know when to blow at the full volume and when to reduce that volume. But I have that capability in my hand at all times. So the first thing I'm gonna do if I see a duck from a long ways away is I'm gonna do a greeting call, okay? This is what my greeting call on my Mondo sounds like. Okay, this is the sound I'm making on the back end of the call, so you can hear what muscles I'm using, what sounds I'm making with my mouth, okay? I'm gonna turn the call around and listen to the noise I'm making. It's really coming from my throat. You want to open your throat up, pretend it's a stovepipe. You want your throat to be that big around. It can't be that big around, but you want to get it as big as round as you can and really open it up, and that's going to give you the depth of the notes you want and the really high flow. Mondo's got a really big bore. You're going to need to flow a lot of air through it, and at a relatively decent pressure. So listen to this. Hold your gun in the right hand if you're right-handed, duck call in the left hand. Vice versa if you're different-handed, okay? It's also important to use your hand. If you use your hand, it mimics a duck's mouth actually opening through his vocal cords. So here's some quacks with and without my hand. There's a lot of different sound there. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the difference in blowing a standard traditional J-frame call, like in this case, this is an R&T MVP. This is my competition call. This is like the traditional standard J-frame call, okay, versus a cut-down style call, the Mondo here, okay? The J-frame call, you're gonna blow the call, okay? You're gonna whack, 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 whack. But on a cut down call, you don't want to blow it, you want to bark it. So it's a real big aggressive bark, 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 bark. Because it's got such a big bore, and if you try to blow it like a regular call, what you're going to get is you're going to dump all your air in the first 3 or 4 notes, and you can't sustain it. You're really trying to make the barks. That's a lot different than blowing a call. I'm going to try to blow the Mondo and make it sound like that here. See how I run out of air? Just doesn't sound right. You're trying to bark it. And those percussions are going to hit the duck's ears when they're flying over, and they're going to trigger a response. That's what we're trying to do with the call. All right, so Dennis is going to learn how to blow a Mondo call today. Dennis has experience, he's an experienced duck caller. He's been duck calling for the past 2 years.
Yeah, year and a half.
2 years. He blows calls when he hunts, and he's been doing this. But he's now ready to try to take on a Mondo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the differences in what we normally do, and just work through some of the calling patterns here. I know it's difficult to pick one up and to listen to somebody like me that's been doing this for years, and then I say it, I make it look really easy. So I'm hoping that our interaction here will be able to help you viewers learn a little bit more about how to blow a duck call. I'm gonna blow a simple greeting call. I want you to take your take at it, and then after you do it, we can just kind of talk about it and make advancements. All right. When you're sharing a duck call, we're gonna be sharing a duck call. It looks like it's really gross. It's wet on the inside. You blow a lot of moisture into this thing, not necessarily saliva, but moisture, and then the pressure changes in here causes a lot of condensation. So it's like 90% condensation, but there is some spit. So we just give it a little wipe right here before we pass it back and forth. That's okay. So a simple greeting call. You see some ducks coming, you want to get their attention. You go. Make that come from down here. Open your throat up. You gotta give it a 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's different from the regular call.
Yeah. Give it a shot and see what you can do. Toot around on it and then pass it back to me. Okay.
It's not as high pitched.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different than mine, and that's what I'm saying. I've been doing this so long, it's really it's difficult to teach somebody how to blow a duck call because most of your tone out of the call comes from your throat, the way you shape your throat and the pressure. It's all about the pressure and the flow there you're putting on the duck call. Okay, so one of the first things that I noticed when you're trying to blow a mondo, you want to use your hand. When you're trying to bark a call, a cut down style call, when you want to use your hand to bark each note. Whack, 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 whack. It takes some coordination to get with your mouth and your hand to do that. It takes some practice. You're not going to be able to do that coming right off the bat. So what you need to do is do your cadence slow. Whack, 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 whack. You don't have to go whack, 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 whack to get that down. And you want to feel the pressure build up in your hand before you open it. You can even, I like to do this, I like to pressurize my hand and then dump that air out with my hand. So you can actually control that initial attack with your hand, right? Let's go over the different types of call cadences I use. I use a greeting call, I use a feed chatter, I use a feed call, I use a comeback call, and I do a finishing type call, okay? So I'm gonna go through those. First thing, I've already gone over once, I'm gonna go over it again. I use my greeting call when I see ducks that are coming, and I wanna let my buddies around me know that I'm calling that the duck's coming. A lot of duck calling is not just calling at the ducks, it's also letting your fellow hunters that are hunting with you know what you're looking at, right? So a greeting call. Now once I got the duck's attentions, the next thing I'm going to do, I got ducks that I've seen in the distance, and I've turned them with a greeting call, and now they're coming at me. First thing I want to do when I get a duck that's coming at me, he's showing interest, he's got his wings cupped up a little bit. Instead of doing this, they start cupping a little bit more, is I want to let everybody around me know that, hey, I got some ducks coming at us, everybody tone it down. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start feed chattering. So I'll run into that. So that's on the back end of the call. I'm gonna let you hear what that sounds like. I'm saying and you can do that in several different speeds. You can also go it'll generate the same response. Next thing I do is a fast feed call, and I'm gonna go dig it in the call. The difference between a chatter and a feed call, chatter is the sound a duck makes when he's sitting on the water and he's about to eat, or he's in a feeding type mode. And then the fast one is the call a duck makes while he's flying. So real fast when they're flying, and then slower when they're sitting on the water. And then, what was the next thing I said I was going to do? I'm going to do a comeback call. So, comeback call is the ducks have come over, they've taken a look at me, and now they've seen another hunting group that looks interesting, or they're maybe not interested because the wind just shifted directions, but for whatever reason, the ducks have lost interest. This happens, okay? Ducks fly over, they take a look at you, and they lose interest. So now I'm gonna show you my comeback call. On the back of the call. So what I'm trying to do is I'm really trying to get an excited sound out of the ducks, right? They're flying away and they hear, oh man, what is that sound? It sounds like a bunch of ducks getting really excited all at once. Maybe I'll turn around and take another look at it. So that's what we're trying to do there. And the last thing is a finishing call. So if I've got ducks right over my head, they're making real tight circles and I think they're gonna finish, but they need just a little bit more, or even after they break over the trees, I like to keep calling. I'll even call the shot and I keep calling to get the ducks in the woods, in the hole, actually coming towards my hunters instead of sitting down on the backside of the hole. So what I'll do there is I'm gonna be real soft. You wanna be real soft. Don't blow at these things hard, all right? You blow hard at these ducks, they're gonna leave. I hope this has been helpful and maybe you've learned a little bit on how I use a Mondo to help me kill ducks. If anybody has any questions, be sure to comment below, and then maybe I can address those questions or make another video to help you guys out. Try to open your throat up more, try to stand up straighter, and just try to open your throat up more. Try to visualize trying to swallow a 1-inch PVC pipe and give that a shot. Okay, so now your pressure's really high and you're pushing a really high-pitched tone. Your hand sounded much better. Your pressure's still really high, so you want to keep your flow high, but your pressure a little bit lower. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Try it, I guess.
Okay, now make 1 or 2 high notes and then come down. Mac, 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 mac. Mac, 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 mac.
Okay.
Try that. Okay. A couple times when you're doing that, you pop your tongue. I can do that. I can repeat what you did.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to blow like you did, and I'm gonna try to blow a different way. Okay?
Yep.
And you want to try to go. So it's a lot less force and less pressure on your chest. Less air. Okay? And don't pop your tongue so hard. Pop, pop, pop. Try not to do that. Try to go bop, 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 bop.
Alright.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Take it on down. Take it on down another 2 notes. Okay. You feel the call break over there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a unique thing the call does. So that's the difference in your throat. You're controlling that in your throat. You may not recognize it. But yeah, take it to the point to right before that happens. High and to right before it breaks over like that. Okay, you're making progress. If you keep practicing that over and over again, you'll start to learn to control your tone better, and you'll be a much better duck caller come duck season.
Right.
Not saying you're a bad one, but there's always room for improvement. There's a lot of room for improvement for myself.
Oh yeah. Me especially.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching, guys.